Hello. What's the best way to start learning? Because I plan to take computer science. Yeah, I don't know if you would like to plan to take on computer science courses or you would like to simply work in this area. So if you would like to participate in coding exercises, for example, to learn how to code in a specific programming language, the best way to start is to firstly find what is the programming language that could help you to reach your goal. This is the first thing. I plan to take course in college. Okay. So the thing is that if you would like to take some computer science courses, there are two ways: either going for networking or going for coding. If you would like to go for coding, first of all, you need to find the coding language, let's say the programming language that would best suit you. For example, if you would like to work in the data science field, it's best to go for the Python. But if you would like to do optimization in computer science, it would be best for you to go to C++ or Java, for example, or even Julia. Recently, they have developed an optimization package for developers. So this is the first thing. Otherwise, if you would like to go for data science, machine learning, etc., Python and R programming language would be very good because they are having a lot of libraries that can help you to get what you want quite easily without too much of coding. So you run your code by calling some of the already existing libraries, then it would be very beneficial for you. And if you would like to go for networking, honestly, I don't have any information about that front because I'm in the coding side. But whatever you want to learn with respect to computer science, you can get some courses online on different websites. You can get some information on YouTube for sure. So if you don't necessarily need your diploma, you can learn the skill, I think, uh, getting some online courses, etc. As someone who doesn't have background on programming, how hard is Python? So the thing is that when you don't have any programming background, first of all, your let's say your mind needs to be familiar with the whole concept and ration behind programming. And I don't think that it would be very hard because I remember when I started coding myself in the beginning, it's very hard to understand the ration behind it, how it works, and how things are related, and compiler, how would it understand what I would like to do, etc. But after, let's say, the first few months, like after the first 3 months, it wouldn't be so hard to understand how to proceed. But the thing is that coding is something that you wouldn't be able to master like in 2 weeks, like, or in 1 month. It takes time, and you need to be dedicated to do one small step every day, and it would be very helpful for you to keep yourself motivated on the way, because it may take 6 months at least to get a job with coding. But I don't think that it would be very hard, especially for Python, because Python is a very user-friendly language, and we have a playlist on the channel. If you check it out, you can find the fundamental of Python projects, and also we have the intermediate level of Python. So you just have to follow the videos and also do the exercises yourself. How how do you know if computer science is the course for you? I'm not confident on taking it, but I really plan to take it. So first of all, I think you need to find your why. Why do you want to go to computer science and not, for example, for industrial engineering? And why not civil engineering? First, you need to find your why. When you find your why, you can confidently say that, okay, this is what what I'm looking for. This is what I would like to do for the rest of my life. So this is another thing. And the third thing that I would definitely do is to try to talk to people who have different degrees in different for example, field of study, like someone who is a mechanical engineer, who is an industrial engineer, who is a civil engineer, and who is a computer scientist. You talk with them, you get some information from them, then you would see the perspective of your job in the future. For example, you can check out, if you're a civil engineer, what can you do in the future? If you're a computer scientist, what can you do in the future? For example, if you would like to learn coding, probably you will spend most of your time working with the computer, coding and debugging. Do you like debugging? It might be annoying in the beginning, but then you might enjoy it. Or if you're a civil engineer, you might travel from one project to another project between cities to be on site for the project, etc. So if you don't love traveling, probably it's not the case for you. So this is the first thing, that you first need to find your motivation for computer science. Why do you think computer science would be a good thing for you? Even the motivation could be, okay, computer science has a good job market and I can earn a lot of money. So this is also a good motivation. So this is the thing. So first find your motivation, and then understand how you would need to proceed to get to your goal, and how hard it would be, the procedure to be a computer scientist. For example, check out the computer scientists, how much they spend on coding, on laptop, on, I don't know, meeting, etc., during a day, and think that if you were a computer scientist, you would like to spend like 8 hours coding. Is it something that you would enjoy? If yes, this is the case for you. But if you enjoy, for example, playing the piano for 8 hours a day, probably becoming a teacher, a music teacher would be better for you. You get the example. I would like to make a comparative example for you so you can understand how you find your motivation. And then when you have your motivation already, I would suggest immediately start learning programming languages. For example, for data scientists, Python and R, they are the most popular programming languages for data scientists. So if you want, you need to learn Python basics first. For example, if you want to become a data scientist, you need to learn about Python first, from the beginners level until the advanced level, where you need to apply object oriented programming. Then you need to learn about SQL, how to manage your database. You need to learn probably about Power BI, how to present your data. Power BI will help you to plot some figures. Probably you need to learn some libraries in Python. For example, Polar's library and Pandas library are good for data processing. There is another library called Matplot. There is another library called Seaborn. Seaborn and Matplot would be beneficial for you to plot your data. For example, you obtain some results using the Pandas on Polar's library regarding your data, but you would like to present this data to your manager. So you cannot show just numbers. It's not easy to understand numbers, and they need to think about it. So you're there to make their life easier, in fact. So you can use the, for example, Matplot library or Seaborn library to plot your figures, plot your numbers, so they can see, for example, in the month of January, the sales reduced, and then when they had, for example, a promotion on their products in the February, March, and then April, we see an upward trend. So we can see the sale is increasing, so it is consistent with the promotion campaigns that we had for the products. So this is how, for example, you can become a data scientist. It's a nice journey, I would say, because you work with the real data and you present good things. For example, now that I was discussing this, I'm quite excited about it myself, because you are basically trying to get some information and calculate based on your real data that you gathered from your customers, for example, and then you do some mathematical operations with the data itself. Then you reach a result, and the result can be plotted in very nice figures, and these nice figures will be like a decision tool for decision makers of your organization. So it's a very nice journey, but again, you first need to see if it will excite you or not. For example, now I'm a computer scientist and it excites me even when I talk about it, but for you it might not be the case. So when you find your vibe, it's very good to continue on the path. But I think computer science has a very, very bright future, especially with the emergence of AI and like chat gpts, etc. Yeah, no problem. If you had any questions, just let me know. Let me pin the message here so people will join. They can see my message. Hello, everyone. This is a live session for coding Q and A. Hello, animation world. Hello. If you have any questions, just let me know. I would be happy to help you. Hello. So I pinned the message, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, the message is here. Okay. What do I about app development in Python with Kiwi? This is good or not? Okay. Let me just answer a text message and I will let you know about it. Okay. Okay. With respect to the app development, I think actually, let me check because okay. So I just wanted to make sure that I'm giving you the correct answer. Basically, Python is not very popular in doing the app development. Usually, Java is useful and it's very beneficial. With respect to Kiwi, it's a very good framework, let's say if you want to have an open source Python framework, Kiwi is very nice, and because it supports UI, it's very good, and it has the touch support also. So it would be very beneficial. If you want, you first learn a little bit about the basics of the Python first of all. So you learn a little bit of the basics of Python. As you move forward, you start trying to do your coding in the Kiwi framework, because the important thing is that when you would like to have an app development, you're going to have a lot of coding probably. If even if the app is not so complicated, at least you need to have a couple of hundreds of code, I think. I assume otherwise it should be a very simple app. So because you need to have a couple of hundreds, a couple of let's say hundreds of lines, it would be very good to have a very nice and clean Python knowledge, so you can have the, for example, 500 lines of Python code without any errors, first of all. Then it's a very clean and simple code and understandable code, because probably if you want to have the app development, you're going to work in a team if it's a large problem. And then you need to, for example, develop the app up until a phase, and then, develop the code and up until a phase, and then pass the code to another developer, and that person is going to pass it to another developer. So it would be nice for you to first of all learn how to do the coding in Python, because um, in order to have a good code, a clean code, it's necessary to know about, for example, object-oriented programming in Python, where you have your classes in which you're putting the relevant functions inside one class. For example, if you have for example, let's say 5 functions, and these 5 functions are doing mathematical operations for you. And these 5 functions can be grouped inside one class called mathematical operations. And then you have the object oriented programming for yourself, for your code. There you can have the object oriented programming. So you're grouping your functions that are relevant. You have another class where you have another group of functions, for example. This way you have a very nice code that you can, for example, even me that I'm not familiar with your code, when I start reading the code, I can understand it very well. So what I would suggest, Kiwi framework is a very good open source place for doing the Python coding for the application. But first, make sure you learn how to do coding in Python itself, and then start going for the app development, because you need to know about the functions, about the classes, how to group the functions inside one classes, about the call of a function, for example, how to modify different members of a class, because there are some members in the class that they are private, there are some of them are protected, some of them are public. So there are some differences between them. You need to be comfortable working with, for example, different variables and parameters of a class. For example, if a variable, or let's say a parameter of a class is public, you can pretty much access this element anywhere. So if you're coding outside of the class, you can even modify that parameter in your class, in any class, if they are public. But if they are, for example, private, you need to find a function. So first of all, you need to define a function by which you can modify that parameter. So you cannot directly modify that parameter, but indirectly. So learning the basics of Python, I would say, is very important. Then you can, of course, move on to continue with the Kiwi. And also, there are some other options. If you know, for example, you can have the Django for the web-based application. You can have the Beaver, and you can have the Pi side. So there are different options. Make sure before starting your coding in the Kiwi, make sure that you would choose the right one, because each one of them might have some advantages and disadvantages. Just make sure you're choosing the correct one before you start. Hello. Hello, everyone. I would be happy to help you out with your questions with respect to computer science or coding. So, for the new people that we are having in the live, I would like to mention that so far we had two very nice questions. So, first of all, someone was not sure if the person would like to start coding, let's say computer science in general, in a college or not. And the second person was looking for an open source framework for application development for mobile application, for example, for iOS and Android. So with respect to the first question, we reviewed how it would be possible to find your motivation for becoming a computer scientist. For example, how you would see yourself in 5 years if you would like to study computer science and if you would like to start coding. For example, if you start coding practices today, for example, in 5 years, you could be a good programmer, and your life would be probably your daily basis would like probably be like 8 hours of coding, 5 hours of coding, let's say 4 hours of coding, and then debugging, then analyzing the output, making sure that your output is correct. And for the second person, animation word, this person was wondering about the Kiwi open source framework for the app development using Python. We discussed how knowing the basics of Python would be very necessary and would be very essential before moving forward with your application. When you are mastering the Python first, then it would be possible for you to choose a framework like Kiwi, for example, to develop your application. Okay, so you're a student and you're learning Java now from the beginners level for the beginners level. Okay, Java is a very good programming language for the application development. As I mentioned in the beginning of your question, Java is more common for application development than Python. So if you're learning Java, good luck to you. It's a very good programming language. But for the future, if you would like to still become an app development, stick to the Java. So it's a very good one. But if you would like to shift the career from becoming an app development to, for example, more data science stuff, it would be nice to learn little by little Python as a side work as well, because Python is useful almost in any concept and context. If you learn Python, you can apply it almost anywhere. So it's very nice. If you want in the future, you can learn Python as well. And also, as I mentioned, you can use the Kiwi framework. It's an open source and it works with Python. If you're more motivated about learning Python, you can shift to the Kiwi framework. So you already applying whatever you're learning uh, in Python, you're already applying it in your app development. So you don't have to go forward with Java for this project, for example, and then learn Python and implement it already in another project. So it would be like parallel works. So it's beneficial for you to think about it first, I would say. And then when you know the correct answer, you can carry on with that. I would invest more time in Python. Python is a very user-friendly programming language instead. Yeah, I would say. But as compared to Java or let's say to C++, Python is not fast enough. It depends what you want to do. For example, we had a project that we were working on an optimization mathematical model and we had to implement it in C++. We could do it in Java as well. But the thing is that if you want to do it in Python, it's possible, but Python is not fast enough for implementing optimization problems. We still do implement some mathematical modeling in Python, But as compared to C++, if the computation time is very important, C++ is preferred, let's say. Animation board, if you have any other questions, I would be happy to answer it. And other people that are watching, if you're also having some questions, I would be happy to help you out. Hello. In fact, in a few months, I would also add the Java programming language courses, like from basics to advanced, to my channel. So currently we don't have it. Currently we have the C++ and Python, but recording videos really takes time. So I am also trying to add some data scientists video to my channel. So now I'm recording, for example, some of the libraries that I mentioned, like Matplotlib library, Seaborn library, how to use them, and how it would be beneficial to have them. And also, I will add them in a few months, let's say in a couple of weeks, and then in a few months, we will shift to Java, Julia, other programming languages. Also, we will learn about how to use, for example, Excel in data scientist, Word. Okay. Okay.